Om Sthapakaya Cha Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varisthaya Ramakrishnaya Te Namah. Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Pada Padme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. Namashyati Rajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swami Tapaharini. Dear devotees, I am extremely happy to be here this evening with all of you. It's a great pleasure meeting you all. Many of you I am meeting for the first time. In fact, it is my first visit to Toronto or Canada for that matter. But some few devotees were there during that 2 days back for the complete work, so some of you were there at the time. As you, Swami Kripa Mayananda, you know his name is beautiful. Kripa Mayananda, full of grace. So he has graciously made this possible for me to meet you this evening. It was not pre-planned. In fact, there was a lot of uncertainty involved because basically I have come here for the Parliament of World's Religions. So there were major 2 talks. One is over, that is second we had Diwali celebration and Hindu Heritage Month celebration on 2nd from 6 to 8 p.m. So there I was the keynote speaker. So that is over. And another one is tomorrow from 2 to 4 p.m. That is a panel discussion. The topic mainly being Vedanta for happiness, peace, justice, health, etc. So basically I came for this to Toronto for this Parliament of World's Religions. And then the Sanatan Mandir came when they came to know, so they approached me. So this morning I was at Sanatan Mandir and gave a talk in Gujarati. Because all of them are Gujaratis and most of the senior citizens, they are not comfortable with English. So I delivered a talk there. And this was only planned only 2 days back that yes, let us have, though there are so many other parallel programs going on in Toronto. So devotees are divided naturally. But that doesn't matter. I am very happy that such a wonderful spiritual atmosphere of this center. I am here and Kripa Mayananda has done the Kripa on me. Name itself is Kripa Mayananda. And he is only 1 year junior to me as regards the officially speaking, but quite senior to me in knowledge and everything else, spirituality and all that. We were together in the training center for 1 year and we have a very loving relationship. So I have taken advantage of that and that's why I am here. So I am very happy to meet you. As I told you that after Parliament Religions, 8th I will be leaving for Houston. There are 4 lectures. Then 12th I go to Boston, Harvard University and Tufts University, and then from there I go to 16th I go to Chicago, 2 lectures there, and then from there to St. Louis, our Vedanta Society, 2 lectures, and then from there I go to New York, New Jersey. You must have heard Vivekananda Vidyapeeth. Wonderful work they are doing. About 2,000 students every week they are coming for getting Indian culture. So every time whenever I come to States, at least one program there is to be fixed, I have to give them. And this time they are in 2 lots because I cannot go twice. It's a Thanksgiving week. Thanksgiving week means the whole week is gone. So on Thursday they will give the send-off to all the students. So during that 2 talks will be there at Vivekananda Vidyapeeth. Then Ridgely Manor, if you are not gone you must go. There is a retreat there. On 24th, whole day retreat, and the main topic will be Vedanta in everyday life. So 23rd I will go spend there. Whenever I come to America, I try to spend 1 day at least in the beautiful place where Swami Vivekananda stayed for 10 weeks. So, and beautiful place, spiritually illumined atmosphere. Then 25th there are 2 lectures. Morning is New York, 9/11 to 9/11, that is the topic. From 9/11 to 9/11. Then evening at Vivekananda Center, the topic is management of everyday life. 28th, 27th is a special program at Long Island, Christian Hindu Dialogue. 29th I leave for India. So I've given in short my itinerary. Within that, programs are going on being added. So some more may be added. Doesn't matter. It's always a pleasure to spread the message of the Holy Trio. When the people are eager, I am also very eager to give them. So before I start with I don't know, whatever comes to me, I'll talk to you. But first of all, I would like to invite you to Rajkot, Gujarat. Those who have not visited, they can also come. Those who have visited, they can also come. Now, what is the specialty about Gujarat? You know, this parliament of religion that is going on, that is the 7th parliament of religions. The first parliament of religions, world religions, at that time the name was World's Parliament of Religion, they have changed to now Parliament of World's Religion. The first World's Parliament of Religion took place in 1893. And it is because of Swami Vivekananda's participation that Parliament of Religion became very famous. Other way around, not the Swamiji Vivekananda also became famous because of Parliament of Religions, it is other way around also. People now give so much of importance to Parliament of Religion because Swami Vivekananda participated. In fact, that 1893 Parliament was part of the Columbus Exposition. It was so many programs were going on, it was one of the auxiliary programs. But it became very, very big program because of the participation of Swami Vivekananda and became very famous. For 100 years there was nothing done. Then in 1993, some monks of Ramakrishna order and others felt that centenary celebration should take place because that speech of Swamiji is considered one of the greatest speeches of the whole world in the world history. In the whole world history, one of the greatest speeches of the world, that Swamiji's speech on 11th September. That is why Illinois government, as you know, have given a charter, have given declaration, 11th September will be called Vivekananda Day. Chicago is a part of Illinois state, and now Canadian government has declared this whole month as the Indian Heritage Month. This is all speaks, Swami Vivekananda said that India shall conquer the world by its spiritual culture. This is really happening gradually. So that 1993 that was revived, and then they thought that whatever Swami Vivekananda said was very relevant that time, now it is more relevant, much more relevant because of so much terrorism was not there at that time. Swami Vivekananda said demons, but now demons have converted into terrorists in the name of religion. So, had it not been for these demons, our human society would have been far better than it is now. That's Swami told 1893. Had he been today talking, he would have said, but for these terrorists, our human society would have been far better than this now. So the demons have become terrorists now. So, much more worse problem. Now this interfaith harmony has become, and then he said we must say goodbye to fanaticism. And he said this on 9/11. We did not say goodbye to fanaticism, so there was another 9/11 after 180 years and the Twin Towers broke in New York. So, Swamiji was such a visionary, and that is why Dr. Federico Mayer, the Director General of UNESCO at that time in 1994 when this centenary of Swamiji's participation was being done in Paris, its headquarters. Then said, what is the relevance of Swamiji's message, Swamiji's Chicago addresses centenary celebration at Paris, at the UNESCO headquarters. Then he said that Swamiji's message was very relevant when he said, but now it is more relevant in the light of the present fanaticism and all this terrorism going on. And then he also said that I was indeed struck by the constitution drawn up by Swami Vivekananda in 1897 with that drawn up by UNESCO in 1945. At that time he was such a visionary that he was at that time talking about serving humanity irrespective of caste, creed, color, religion, nationality. At that time he made a declaration, he made a rule that anybody who wants to become a member, even a lay member, will have to give a written declaration that I will respect all religions. Now whatever UNESCO is talking about, Swami Vivekananda talked about it 100 years back. So his message is very relevant. And so 1993 they revived that committee and had another world parliament religion in Chicago. And they found so much of interest and so much of response that they decided every 5 years that should be done. So then it was done in Melbourne and other places. The last was done, last 6th Parliament of World Religion took place in Salt Lake City, 15 to 19 October in 2015. So I also participated in that, and we had a pre-parliament event in Baroda. At that time I was in Baroda. Now I'm in Rajkot. So we had again a pre-parliament event for this parliament, 7th Parliament. We had a pre-parliament and the trustees had come and all that. So that's that time they invited me that you must come. So anyway, now this parliament, 7th Parliament also is going on. That's a great thing that is going on in Toronto. But now I'm coming to the main point. Why Gujarat I'm requesting you to come. Why I'm inviting you to come. You know, Swami Vivekananda came to know about the world parliament religion for the first time when he was in Gujarat. Of course, later on, many things developed. But the first time that Parliament of Religion is going to take place in Chicago, that news he got when he was in Gujarat. He was traveling from Junagadh to Porbandar. At night, he had to stay one night in Jetalsar railway station. This is my research, what is going on for the last 30 years. There is a book also has come out. Vivekananda in Gujarat. I will give a copy to Swamiji. It will be in library. You can read that book. From last 30 years ongoing research. So, Swami Vivekananda was going from Junagadh to Porbandar. At night he stayed at Jatasar railway station. The assistant station master, Hargovind Das Ajramat Pandya, he was a wonderful man. He was a compassionate man, and he saw at that time 27-year young boy clad in this ochre robes. So he invited him for his house nearby and gave him lodging. And then he said that he was also very much influenced by his knowledge and wisdom. So he said, there is a parliament of religious that is going to take place in Chicago. This is the first time he came to know. Then he went to Porbandar. He was the guest of the then administrator of Porbandar, Shankar Pandurang Pandit. Shankar Pandurang Pandit was a great Pandit. He knew many languages. Then he was at that time translating Atharvaveda. So he requested Swamiji to help him in the translation work. And Swamiji was so very happy. He never stayed more than 3 days, but there he spent about 4 months. Why? He fell in love with the library. He had a weakness for the books. And so it's a very huge library that Shankar Pandurang Pandit had come. And Shankar Pandurang Pandit said, Swamiji, you are having such a great knowledge of scriptures, Sanskrit scriptures, English, you know everything. You must go to the West. In India, they will not understand your genius here. You ought to go to the West. And when you go to the West, you will need to know French. I will teach you French. He knew many languages. He was an Oriental he was in the Oriental Institute in Bombay earlier. Swamiji learned French there in Porbandar. He studied Sanskrit literature, Sanskrit grammar. He helped Shankar Pandurang Pandit in translating Atharvaveda. And he read so many books, most of them scriptures, there in Porbandar, in the library of Shankar Pandurang Pandit. And Mahapurush Maharaj Swami Shivanandaji said, it is because of his love for the library that he came twice to Porbandar, not once. Now, whatever thought bombs that Swami Vivekananda threw in the first Parliament of Religions, the gunpowder of those thought bombs was obtained from Porbandar, from Gujarat. So Gujarat is responsible not only that he came to know about Parliament religion for the first time. It is Shankar Pandurang Pandit who told you must go to the West. Before that, Limdi Maharaja also had said that you must go to the West. So then afterwards, of course, when he went, he sat down in the last bit of rock at Kanyakumari, he meditated on Mother India. Then he decided I must cross the ocean. These are all later on things. And then Ala Singha Perumal and all of them, they said you must go to the West, you must go to Parliament religions. and then they collected money and all. It's a long story, and then afterwards Khetri Maharaja converted this ticket from third class to second class to first class. These are all things. These are all later things. But the first knowledge, first information comes at Gujarat, and the preparation for that parliament region, whatever thought bombs he gave, was also done in Gujarat. And that is why you find when Swami Vivekananda traveled all over the country before going to the west, maximum time he spent in Rajasthan and Gujarat, in that western coast. In South India also he spent, but this was the maximum time that he spent. And Gujarat he spent about 7-8 months. And then in Gujarat, the beauty of this is that in Gujarat we have been able to convert the houses into memorials. There are 15 places in the whole world, approximately, where Swami Vivekananda stayed, and they have been converted into memorials. Of course, there are many places he stayed, but those buildings are gone. The buildings are there, maybe, but they are not under our possession. They have not yet been converted to memorials. But these 15 places, the original buildings where Swami Vivekananda himself stayed, have been converted into memorials. 3 are in America, as you know, Ridgely Manor, where I told about it. Ridgely Manor, 10 weeks he stayed there. South Pasadena, stayed for 6 weeks there. And then also the Thousand Island Park, there also with the 12 disciples spent for 2 months. These 3 are in America. Rest 12 are in India. Of course, Swamiji's room is there. Then Swamiji's ancestral house is there. Kanyakumari, they have converted to memorial, though he stayed only for 3 days, but they have converted to a very big memorial. Ice House in Chennai, Madras, has been converted to memorial. The palace in Khetri has been converted to memorial. Belgaum, where Swamiji stayed in that forest guest house, that small guest room, there has been converted to memorial. And 3 are in Gujarat. The Limdi, the palace where Swamiji stayed, was given by the Rajmata, Praveen Kuwarba, gifted to Ramakrishna Mission. So there we have a memorial. Swamiji himself stayed in that palace. There is a beautiful story. Why did he stay in the palace? It's a beautiful story. I'll come to that if possible. Second is Porbandar, as I told you, the bungalow where Swamiji stayed for more than 4 months as the guest of the then Administrator Shankar Pandurang Pandit. We requested the government. It was with the kings, and when after independence it came in the hands of the government. The government of Gujarat had converted into a guest house, panchayat guest house. So we told, already it was in a dilapidated condition. So we requested the government of Gujarat to hand it over to us. So the government of Gujarat handed over to us that dilapidated building in Porbandar on 12th January 1997 for converted to memorial at 1 rupee token and 30 years lease. That is how we have renovated the whole building, and then many activities have been started. The room in which Swamiji stayed has been converted into a meditation room and all that. Similarly, Swamiji had come first of all from Rajasthan to Ahmedabad. From Ahmedabad he went to Limdi, then from there to Junagadh, Bhavnagar, Porbandar, Dwarka, Somnath, Bhuj, Kutch, Narayan Sarovar, all the places, then Palitana, then Nadiyal, and final destination was Baroda. From Baroda he writes to his to Haridas Vihar Desai, the then Diwan of Junagadh, that your friend Manibhai Jashbhai took all possible care of me at Baroda, and today I am living in Baroda. 26th April 1892, he leaves Baroda. That is the final destination. The same bungalow where Swami Vivekananda stayed as the guest of the then Diwan Manibhai Jashbhai was again handed over by the government of Gujarat to Ramakrishna Mission. There is a story behind that. That Porbandar is another story, and this Baroda is another story. Baroda, I went to Narendra Modi, the Chief Minister of Gujarat at that time, requested him Then he said, I will not give to you. I will give it in the hands of Swami Atmasthananji. You know, Narendra Modi had gone to Rajkot center when Swami Atmasthananji, the 15th president of the Ramakrishna order, was at the time the president of Rajkot Ashrama. So as a young boy, he had gone there to become a monk. And he stayed there for some time. For about 2 years, he used to stay and come in few days. And Swamiji, at that time, he had not yet become graduate and he was also very young. So Atmasthananji used to give him a lot of advice. So he considers Swami Atmasthananji as his almost his guru. Though I don't know whether he's taken Adhyaksha or not. So he made a condition, Atmasthananji must come to receive that bungalow. So Atmasthananji was vice president. It is Atmasthananji who was after me. He was the president, you understand. At that time he was vice president. Vice president of the Ramakrishna order, under whom I had joined in 1976 when he was the assistant secretary. Under whom I have joined, just imagine how much junior I am. And he would request me with folded hands, please give me Dilaram bungalow so that I can die peacefully. I said, what? Dilaram bungalow is my pocket that I will give to you? No, please give me Dilaram bungalow so that it can be converted to memorial, then I can die peacefully. I said, you are not going to die so quickly. I don't want your lecture, I want Dilaram bungalow. Like that, he will go on telephoning from Calcutta to Porbandar. At that time I was at Porbandar in charge. Then what to do? This old man is not leaving me. So then I met Narendra Modi. Narendra Modi said, Atmasthananji must come. Then I made Atmasthananji talk to Narendra Modi. Then he said, yes, I will come. So that is how Narendra Modi himself came to Baroda on 18 April 2005. Atmasthananji also came and he handed over the bungalow to him. And Atmasthananji was so happy. Oh, you have given the bungalow. You have given the bungalow. Very nice. And he just embraced him, Narendra Modi, and said, now you must come to Belur I will give you nice prasad. That did not take place immediately. On then April, in the month of April 2013, Narendra Modi rang me up, his office rang me up, and they said, Narendra Modi wants to go to Belur because he had promised Atmasthananji, he wants to meet the president and he wants to visit Belur so make all the arrangements. I talked to General Secretary Maharaj and then all the arrangements were done. Then again he sent a message, no, he wants to go to Dakshineshwar also. So again I talked to Dakshineshwar, though it is not under direct control, but I know that man. Managing trust and all that. So I made all the arrangements, special puja of Ma Kali and all that. Again the message came, you have to also go. So I told General Secretary, he wants me to go. Yes, you must come because then Gujarati will be talking, he will be talking Gujarati with Atmasthananji and all that, it will be good. So I went there. Morning 6 o'clock he came to Dakshineshwar. Then he did special puja, for 2 hours were there. 8 o'clock he came to Belur He went to the museum, he went to Swamiji's room. Then he told me, Swamiji, I want to be alone in this room. So we all came out, 3 or 4 Swamijis. Then he came out only after 20 minutes. He was perspiring fully, but he was such a happy mood. I thought he got his blessing of Swamiji that time, because that time he was not yet become the Prime Minister of India. Maybe he got the blessings. Because I have met him so many times, but never I felt so happy. I was very happy. He came out in a very nice mood. After meditating for 20 minutes in Swamiji's room, finally 9:30 we went to the place, President Maharaj's quarter. Atmasthananji Maharaj was there. And there was so much of laughing, so much of this one that is there now in YouTube. So then because when I used to say, he told me in Narendra Modi that I had gone to Swamiji for becoming a monk. But other people were under the impression, no, he must have been student's home, not for becoming a monk. So I asked this question, you went to Swamiji for becoming a monk or for the student's home? No, I went to become a monk. Then they gave some new news that I did not know, or nobody knew. But first I came to Belur As soon after reading the books of Swami Vivekananda, I simply went to Belur first. Swami Madhavananji was there. And he was a man of few words. He said, first finish the study and then come. That was the only answer. So then he went to Almora. Almora also 2 months he was there in our kutia. There also he was told, you have to be graduate, first finish the study. Then he went to Himalayas for 2 years. He wandered here and there as a monk. And then he came back to Ahmedabad, and then from Ahmedabad, he used to come to Rajkot. Atma Sanji also told the same thing, you finish the studies, but keep on coming here. Don't lose the content. So every 1 month, 2 months, he will stay for 1 or 2 months. That's how he came in to intimate contact with Atma Sanji, and then Atma Sanji Maharaj blessed him very much on his head. Then he gave him prasad, that which he had at that time promised, give a lot of prasad, and he also took a lot of prasad. And there was so much of laughing and all that. So anyway, so this is how, and that time, this question came up that Swamiji was also in a house in Ahmedabad. So now that you already given the Baroda, why not you give Ahmedabad? So he said yes, but condition Atma Sanji has to come there. Now he is immobile, but still somehow the other, we managed, yes, he will give in his hands, whether he will come here or then he will go there, doesn't matter, but he will give in his hand. That is how we just managed to tell him. After it so happened that he has now become the Prime Minister, immediately after that he became Prime Minister, so very difficult to get that house. We are still trying. But though 2 houses were with the government, so it was easier for them to give. These are all private houses, so there is some hitch about it. Still we are trying to get those 2 houses. There are 2 houses where Swamiji stayed in Ahmedabad. So we are trying to convert into memorials. That we are attempting. At the same time, we have already, as you know, there are 225 branch centers of Ramakrishna Mission missions spread all over the world. 50 are in abroad and rest in India. Now, apart from that, there are 1,000 centers which are not directly affiliated with Ramakrishna Mission. They are called non-affiliated centers. Now, out of these non-affiliated centers, 10 are in Gujarat, out of which 1 was in Ahmedabad. Now, they have been affiliated, made a sub-center of Rajkot. Why sub-center? Because it has not got land or facility. We have it is that non-affiliate center was operating on a flat, 2 duo flats where the wall was removed and there was a hall was made. So it was a makeshift arrangement, and that was going on. So at present our center in Ahmedabad is operating in the same flat. We are searching for land. The land is very costly in Ahmedabad. I think more costly than New York, or much more costly than your Toronto. Ahmedabad is one of the fastest developing cities of the whole world. So very difficult to get land. So we have decided to go a little away from the city, but we want minimum 2 acres of land, but it's going to be very costly. We have requested the government. Government has said, you find out a plot which belongs to the government, then we can give it 50% market rate. But there is no plot available now. All the plot available, they are either, they are full, the litigation is there, something is there. Anyway, we are trying our best to locate a government land and get it 50% market rate, or locate a private land and purchase it through. But before that, either of the 2, we have to have donation. So we are collecting donation, and then once the donation comes, we will either go for a government land or private land as the things moves. Then it will become a full-fledged center, Ahmedabad. And parallel, we are also trying to convert those 2 houses into memorials. So, when you come to Gujarat, you must see Ahmedabad, you must see Limdi, you must see Rajkot, you must see Dwarka and Somnath and Porbandar. Now, when you go from Dwarka to Somnath, in between you will get Porbandar. So, no, it's not a big deal. Otherwise, also you have to pass through. That is the main path. So, Porbandar you can stay. So when you make a visit, just advance you must let us know. Then we will prepare a good itinerary for you. So the car comes from Ahmedabad. At the Ahmedabad airport, you are received from, even if you are from Calcutta, if you are coming. If you are coming from Bombay, then there is a direct flight. There are direct flights from Bombay to Rajkot. So you can come directly to Rajkot or come to Ahmedabad. We will hire a taxi for you. You go from Ahmedabad to Limdi, to Rajkot, Dwarka, Somnath, Porbandar. We will make a route. Now Limdi story is very beautiful, very thrilling. And Swamiji was at that time, walking. He used to go by train if somebody gives the ticket. But he had a vow, he will not touch money during the travel. So he would not touch money. If anybody gives the ticket, railway ticket, he will take it. But it has to be first class ticket. Yes, that was at that time he had made a rule. First class ticket, why? Because that was only at that time in 1891, only first class compartment used to have toilets. And Swamiji had problem with the stomach. So he said, I go either walking or go first class by train. So the ticket has to be first class, but he will not touch any money. So when the ticket was there, so sometimes he will go walking. So when he, from Ahmedabad, he came to Vadhavan by train, most probably. From Vadhavan, he walked all the way to Limdi, about 18 miles at the time. So when evening he reached Limdi, he was quite exhausted and no food at that time. So he asked in the outskirts of Limdi whether there is any place where he can stay. Then they said there is no place here, but there is nearby, there is a Shiva temple, that by that side there is maybe some place. He didn't know them, so he went there, and there were some monks. They said, yes, you can stay there. But he did not know what type of monks they were there. Now these people, they put him there in the room. And then he heard some very different types of noises, different type of voices. He could understand this is a very different place. Maybe these tantric sadhus were there. And he became very much afraid. And then he thought, better to leave this place. But then he found he has been locked inside. After some time, the Mahanta of that place came and said, we can understand from your face that you have practiced continence for a long time. Now we will break your continence and get some mystic powers. So he was very much afraid. He had never come to this type of, he had come with so many calamities. He has gone, a tiger is coming, it's okay, but this is more dangerous than tiger. What to do? Whole night he prayed. And then he got some sort of reply from the Divine Mother. So next day morning, when the boy, a small boy, used to come to him for giving milk, he made friendship with him. And that boy also liked Swamiji, young, and he's so loving, like Shiva. So he said, can you do some work for me? He said, yes. Then Swamiji, what did he do? He did not have any pen or any paper. So there was some broken pieces of this earthen pot. So he took the earthen pot, took a charcoal piece and wrote, Sadhu bhai mein hai. In Hindi he wrote, because he knew that he could have written in English, but that time maybe he wrote down in Hindi, Sadhu bhai mein hai. The sadhu is in danger. He said, you hide this beneath your chadar, go straight to the palace, directly meet the Maharaja. I have heard that Maharaja is very compassionate, and tell him that I have been imprisoned. So the boy went, and those watchmen, they will not allow him to enter, the small boy to enter the palace. At that time, Maharaja of Limdi, Yashwant Singh Ji, very young man, just 3 years older to Swamiji. He was walking, 4 years, in 1863 Swamiji, 4 years older to Swamiji. He was walking up and down in the gallery. He saw something is going on. Water is going on. This boy wants to come and meet you. Okay, send him. Then he told the whole story. Immediately he sent the guards, all these people, and relieved Swamiji. And then he told Swamiji, please be careful now onwards for staying with anywhere. Don't go here and there. And you stay with me in this palace. So he stayed in that palace with Yashwant Singh Ji. And many asking the question, if you read the life of Swami Vivekananda, most of the time Swami is staying with either Diwan or Maharaja or in a big place. What is this? So Swamiji spent the nights also with cobbler. He did not have anything, but he was became very careful after this incident. not to go to an unknown place. So he was very circumspect in that. And that is why you find that Maharaja Yashwant Singh Ji wrote letters of introduction to the various divans and Maharajas in Gujarat. And so there, wherever Swamiji went, he went with that letter of introduction. So from Limdi he went to Junagadh. The Junagadh Diwan Haridas Vihar Desai became so much attached to him that Swamiji wrote 12 very inspiring letters to him. Haridas Vihar Desai, the Junagadh Diwan, who was originally from Nadia. So he went there, Junagadh also. He stayed with the Diwan, Junagadh. Then he goes to Porbandar. He stayed with the administrator Shankar Pranav Pandit. Likewise, wherever he goes with a letter of introduction at a proper place, not an unknown place. Now, enough is enough. That experience was very bad. Somehow he was relieved. Now, there's an interesting story. Swamiji stayed in this palace, everybody knows. Yashwant Singh Ji, Palace of Limdi. Now come to the second side of story. One day, it so happened, in Limdi, there was a merchant called C.T. Shah. Chabilda Shah, he was a Jain merchant. Remember, Jain is not Hindu, Jain. Jain merchant, he was originally from Rangoon. They had some sort of office in Calcutta. So he had visited Velumat once or twice, maybe more times. And then because his health was not good, so he left Rangoon and settled in Limdi. That was his original place. And he was a cotton merchant. So he used to produce this cotton has to be done. There is a lot of cotton being grown in Gujarat. So cotton mill he had. So he used to look after that cotton. He had this cotton mill. He was a big merchant. Now what happened? His wife Ajwadi Ben, C.T. Shah, Chabil Bhai Shah's wife named Ajwadi Ben. Ajwadi Ben became very much sick, very serious. They lost all hopes of her survival. Then one day, fine morning, Ajwadi Ben told her husband, "Last night I had a dream and a monk came to me with beard and he gave me blessing. And from that time I am feeling very nice." So who is that monk? Now, how to know? Bearded men, most of the holy men are bearded. So how to find out? Now, one day, Chabil Bhai was reading a magazine. The name of the magazine is Akhandanand. Very famous magazine in Gujarati. Even now it is going on. That time, of course, circulation was more. So he was reading Akhandanand. And then he put it in the table and went for some time. Ajwadi Ben just saw that Akhandanand. And as soon as she saw, she discovered that photograph. There was an article on Ramakrishna Paramahansa, and there the same photograph. Oh, this is the person who has blessed me. So they came to know Ramakrishna Paramahansa has saved her life. They don't know anything about Ramakrishna, but they know Ramakrishna Paramahansa has saved my life. Now, how to find out Ramakrishna Paramahansa? So they had their relatives in Bombay. So they told, find out Ramakrishna Paramahansa. So they came to our Ashrama in Khar, said, "We want to meet Ramakrishna Paramahansa." Oh, he has left long back. But this is Ramakrishna Mutt. In the name of him, this Ramakrishna Mutt is there. Oh, what is the matter? Well, we have got a message from Limdi. Then why you are coming all the way? There is Rajkot very nearby, only 2 hours drive. Go to Rajkot. So that is how Chabil Bhai came to Rajkot. And Atmasanji was there. He jumped on him. What? Ramakrishna giving vision to a Jain merchant's wife? He was excited. Then he gave him a lot of books of Swamiji. He became an ardent devotee. This Chabil Bhai became an ardent devotee of Ramakrishna. Then he got Mantra Diksha from Nikhileswarananda Maharaj, Prabhu Maharaj, the 10th president of the Ramakrishna order, who was a disciple of Holy Buddha. Then next time when came, Nikhileswarananda again came after 1 year to Rajkot. Then Ajwadi Ben said, "You got Mantra Diksha alone, I also want Mantra Diksha. So, from your Guru, same Guru I want." Now, she was immobile. She cannot leave the bed. She was saved, but she was bedridden. She cannot leave the bed. That was her condition. So, Chabil Bhai telephoned Atmastanji, I heard that Prabhu Maharaj, my Guru, is coming. My wife also wants to take Diksha, but she cannot go to Rajkot. Can you not tell Vireshwaranji to come to Limdi? And you understand, Atmastanji was in full temper at that time. Afterwards, he became very much mellowed down. And he shouted and he just scolded him right and left. What? What do you mean? Our president is so cheap, he will go to Limdi to give Diksha there. He has no other business. Right and left he scolded. So Chabil Bhai was in tears, he left. Again wife is telling, no, I want Manta Diksha. So again he telephoned. Likewise, now what to do? So Atmastanji telephoned Vireshwaranji that this foolish person, he wants that you should go to Limdi to initiate his wife. But he also told that she had a vision of Ramakrishna. Vireshwaranji told, I will go. Atmastanji never expected. The president of the Ramakrishna order, his time is so much in short, and yet he said yes. Then he did go. Vireshwaranji, Prabhu Maharaj went all the way 2 hours of drive to Limdi, to the place, to the house of Chabil Bhai Shah. And by the side of his bed, sat down, gave Manta Diksha when she was unbed. This is the real incident that took place in Limdi. And this Chabil Bhai became so much saturated with Ramakrishna, he changed the name of his cotton mill into Ramakrishna Wala Mill. And he became known all over as Ramakrishna Wala. His name was not Chabil Bhai any longer, Ramakrishna Wala. And he would just be dancing with Ramakrishna all the time, name Ramakrishna all the time. Such a devotee he became. Then his Swami Atmasan said, you must start a center there. So he started a small center, study center. So gradually 10, 15 people, they hired a small room. Then it went out to 30, 40 people started coming. Then somebody jokingly said, now there is no room available. Why not you ask the king of the palace? The palace is lying unused. There was a fire in that palace, so most of the palace was burned. Only one portion where Swamiji was there in Darbar Hall, that was standing. So why not ask the king to give the palace so that we can have our study circle there? At least they can give once a week, they can give open. Already it is only, they are playing tennis on the 3rd floor. It is lying unused. So they jokingly said. So now, Chabil Bhai, he could not dare to ask for a palace for their study circle. So night he was sleeping when he heard the voice, not in dream, really heard the voice thrice, and not in Gujarati, English he heard. Go and ask for it. Go, ask for it. Go, ask for it. Then next day morning, he took the courage and made an appointment with the Rajmata, Pravani Kuvarba. And then he came to Rajmata and told, we are having a study circle in the name of Ramakrishna. Now it is growing, we don't have place. If you can give at least once a week, if you can sit down, the palace is lying there. So that is our request. Rajmata said, I knew you will come to me. My God. How? Then she narrated her incident. Rajmata Pravani Kuvarba, 1930s, she had gone to Mount Abu, to her Guru's place. There in her Guru's place she saw a photograph. Whose photograph it is? Why? It is Ramakrishna Paramahansa of Calcutta. Why? What has happened? Every day he gives me vision. In dream, no. When I am awake, I am sleeping, on the wall he appears, but he doesn't speak anything, but he remains on the wall. And then disappears. Guru said, you know Ramakrishna Paramahansa was a great saint. To get his vision even for once is very, very rare. You are getting every day. That is great. I think he wants to get some work done from you. Then Rajmata said, I didn't know what work she wants. Now today you have come to get the palace from me. I know this is why Sri Ramakrishna gave me darshan that time. 30 years. This is 1976. 1930 she is getting darshan. 40 years back Sri Ramakrishna is playing the drama and creating the whole background so that the palace comes to Ramakrishna mission. Then we said, I want to not only give you for once a week, I want to hand over the whole thing to you. But I have to ask my son, Chhatrasalji, actually he is the owner, she was Rajmata, mother of her. So he has gone to Delhi, let him come back, then I will tell him. Then Chhatrasalji thought that my mother is so much willing, I am so much desirous, I should not stand in the way. So the whole palace was given to a private organization called Ramakrishna Prarthana Mandir. Now, afterwards, 1993, it was made an affiliated center of Ramakrishna Mission, 1993. So the same palace where Swami Vivekananda stayed and the palace which was given by Rajmata, Praveen Kuvarba, and then the day this palace was handed over, on Jagaddatri Puja day, the new center was started in palace. That time Rajmata she herself was a great singer, a great devotee and a great poet. She wrote down one poem, Thakur aaye dwar hamare, Thakur aaye dar. Sri Ramakrishna has come to me today. Sri Ramakrishna has come back to me today. That is how she was so much overjoyed the day this palace was handed over to the Ramakrishna Prarthana Mandir, and later on Chabil Bhai, this thing happened. And then when there was temple dedication ceremony, in 1979, the new temple in Rajkot was, about 200 monks had come. One of the most, I must say that I have seen many temple dedication ceremonies, but it was most wonderful. Most of the senior monks were there at that time. I have made a film also, is available, I put it in YouTube, you can see that. 200 monks, but more importantly, at that time monks were very less, 1979, and all the senior monks of that time, you name and I will tell you. Nirvananandji Maharaj was sick, he could not come, he never went out, that is, leave him. And Vandananandji was the only person, General Secretary, looking after the whole. Otherwise, Dayanandji, who never went, came. Bharat Maharaj never went out, he came. Atmastanji, of course, was the main person who was arranging whole thing at that time. He went a few days in advance as their assistant secretary. Gambhiranandji Maharaj, vice president at that time. Bhuteshanandji Maharaj was vice president at that time. Bhashyanandji went from Chicago with the whole team there. It was a wonderful atmosphere, that particular temple dedication ceremony. And then they requested that they made a trip to Dwarka Somnath, all the monks there, and all the monks they also went to Limdi. Now Chabil Das again caught hold of Atmasanji, Hamare Guru ko lana padega. Vireshwaranandji, he told, Vireshwaranandji must come, my Guru also must come, 200 monks are coming to Limdi, my place. I am so happy, my Guru also should come. So Atmasanji told that your chela, that Pagal chela wants that you should go to Limdi. Then Vireshwaranandji Maharaj. Now I at that time had gone there to Rajkot. I was a brahmachari at that time. I was posted to Ranchi, but I was sent from Ranchi to Rajkot for this temple dedication ceremony, just for 1 month in advance, 15 days in advance. And I choose for myself my favorite duty, that is serving Vireshwaranandji, my Guru. So I was at that time 24 hours with him. So I saw with my eye, then after when Atmasanji met, Prabhu Maharaj told, Vireshwaranandji told me, I am a brahmachari, who am I? But he is telling me, you see, now the અત્યાચાર બેશી અત્યાચાર હોઈ જાય છે, છાડીએ જાય છે. મને there is too much of exploitation now of my goodness. It is too much for me, because already I had so much temple dedication, so much of work. So many visitors came, this and then 200 monks have come, thousands of devotees have come, meeting them, this and that already, and he is at that time also nearing 90, 85. So he was saying, it is too much now, crossing the limit, but I can't say no. So he went there. Now, at the last minute, he went there, so I cannot go with him because I was offered to go. But I said, no, I will not go. I will remain with the Guru. But Guru has left. So at that time, no, all the buses and books have left. So only one car where Atmasthanji Prabhu Maharaj will go. I said, I am ready to go in the dicky also. But Atmasthanji did not allow. Anyway, now the thing comes. When Prabhu Maharaj came there, Chabil Bhai, he became very, very emotional. While giving vote of thanks, he started crying like anything. Now, it was becoming, so many monks, brahmacharis there, and he is not able to talk, and crying, out of this feeling that my Guru has come. Really he has come. He is sitting on the dais, and he is giving vote of thanks, and he is being overwhelmed. Atmasthanji, his presence of mind. Now, so we have to save the situation. The fellow is crying and crying. So he said, hey Chabil, hey Ramakrishna wala, hey suno. You told me that if I bring your Guru here, you will dance. You will dance, isn't it? You told, now you dance. And really Ramakrishna wala started dancing on the stage. This is how he controlled his emotions. He started dancing. Can you imagine? Ramakrishna wala, the whole milk, he is the owner of the mill. All the staff members are there. The whole Limdi people, they recognize him as almost like a king. Before him, he is dancing, leaving all his shyness and all that. So this is the incident that happened. Ramakrishna wala, this all you see, the divine plan. What I mean to say is that the divine plan, how Swami Vivekananda comes. Where is Calcutta? And he goes to Gujarat. He stays in some houses, and those houses are converted to memorials. And behind that memorials is all these stories. Is it not that it has come? It is not building. It is not building. You see the emotional attachment. The dust is there of Swamiji. And then it is Ramakrishna who is giving darshan to Rajmata so that she gives the palace to Chabil Bhai, and the Chabil Bhai gives to Ramakrishna mission, and it becomes so this palace today is a part of a Ramakrishna mission. It has not come so easily. There is a lot of story behind it. Similarly, I know Porbandar, how much work I had to fight too much for getting that bungalow. Baroda also, I have told only a small story, a part of the story. So all these memorials, they have got this background. Not only that the dust of Swamiji is there, but the divine plan, how with the divine plan, they have been converted into memorials. So you must visit. If when you come to India, please try to visit Gujarat. You must go Dwarka, Somnath, and these modern pilgrim centers, that is Porbandar, Baroda and Limdi, where Swamiji stayed. And by that time, maybe Ahmedabad also, we are trying to convert into memorials. The houses where Swamiji stayed, they are also in dilapidated condition, but we are trying. So this is all in a very different way. Already time is up. I have not yet started.
What something about Buddhism?
Yes, I will tell. Yeah. I'll tell, before that I'll tell a story. Swamiji was in America and he was giving a lecture. And somebody started that pocket watch. He was showing pocket watch. What? You are showing me watch? I have not yet started. I was just warming up. Lecture was for 1 hour, it went on for 3 hours. After 3 hours, the watch is doing like that. And he said, oh, I was just warming up. And you are showing me the watch. So I was not even warming up. I have just invited you for Gujarat. And he said the time is over. So, I had the great fortune of coming in contact with many senior monks of Ramakrishna order. So Bhuteshananji Maharaj was there for 21 years in Gujarat. That is additional thing I am telling you. Atmasthanji was the president of Rajkot Center for 9 years, the 15th president. The 12th president of the Ramakrishna mission, Bhuteshananji, was there for 21 years. And both of them, they loved Gujarati people so much, they loved everything of Gujarat, the Gujarati food, and whenever he will talk to us, both of them, they will always talk in Gujarati. And we have to take the Gujarati peda and Gujarati sweet whenever we went there. Hey, peda kotha hai? Where is the sweet Gujarati dish you must bring? And surprisingly, Atmasranji would, this Diwali, the next day to Diwali is a new year for Gujaratis. It's called Sal Mubarak because Vikram Samvat starts from there. Atmasranji knows that the next day is very important. Morning 6 o'clock, he will telephone me, hey, Sal Mubarak, Sal Mubarak. He is the vice president. Then he became president. The president Maharaj telephoning me to give Sal Mubarak. So much he is imbued with the Gujarati idol. And Bhuteshananji Maharaj also, he knew just Gujarati. Literally Gujarati. And whenever he would talk, he will talk in a very pure Gujarati. So there are many reminiscences of Bhuteshananji Maharaj. So many times we have met him, and then in the morning also there used to be this addabaji when all the brahmacharis will come, and there will be lot of laughter and all that. Then one or two things because it is food time, so light mood I will tell you. He says, he was Rajkot to Calcutta. He would have to go because he was a trustee. So he has to go for the meeting. So from Rajkot, that train used to take about 4 days. Now it is taking 2 days. So 4 days he would be going. It's a long journey. So what happened one day that he went to the toilet. And suddenly, one sleeper fell down from the hole. See, look at his presence of mind. Immediately took out the second one and put it there. He said, I have lost the sleeper for good. Now I cannot stop the train. It will take. Even if I pull the chain, it will go there. And if I pull the chain, the fine will be 250 rupees, which will be 250 times the price of the sleeper. So, the best way is that whosoever gets the sleeper, and then if he gets one part is not going to mend, let him get the whole pair. So like that he used to make so many funny stories he will do. And then one day one Swamiji went there and told about one monk and that some religious preacher. He was coming out of this one, and two professors are talking them. Oh, that was a fantastic lecture. What a fantastic lecture. Why? I could not understand a single word of it. It was so high that I could not. Then Bhuteshananji told, and what do they say about your lecture? Then he said, you will be caught both ways. If you say that they understood everything, then also you are gone. And if they say no, they could not understand a bit of that, then also you are gone. So that he had such a humorous way, Bhuteshananji made, and laugh. So Bhuteshananji, wonderful that time that we had with Bhuteshananji, and many disciples of Holy Mother, Sharda Devi, Ramai Maharaj and others, and Gopesh Maharaj, Swami Shardeshananji, then Kalida Maharaj, because I was posted in Ranchi for 10 years, so I had to go to Jamshedpur. He used to stay in Jamshedpur. He used to tell about this one, that when he went there, he was in Belumat, and Premananji Maharaj told that this devotee wants to take Banta Diksha, so you take him to Jairambati, because you know the path. So Kalida Maharaj took him to Jairambati. He is just as a guide. Then they went to Holy Mother and said that this person wants it. Holy Mother said, "Acha, tumra 2 জন আসবে সকালে তোমাদের দীক্ষা হবে." Now Khalid Maharaj was in trouble. He has not come for taking Diksha. He was a young boy. He has not come for Diksha, and mother said, I will give you Diksha. Now what to do? So he came and Diksha, without asking, he got the Diksha. Then he said, how much time you have to do japam? So he said 8 times. 8 times. Normally it is 108 times. So he said, 108 times? No. 8 times. 3 times he told. 8 times? 8 times. 108 times? No, 8 times. No, 8 times. So Holy Mother said, I was so blessed. She made for me special concession. Only I have to do 8 times japam. And she said, afterwards he had to look after 20 schools. He started many schools in Jamshedpur. So it was so much of Karma Yoga he did that even 8 times that he said 108 would have been disastrous. So Sarada Devi, she knew that he needs only 8 times. Once Vireshwarananda, somebody asked, Maharaj, you told 108 times japam. If we do 8 times, will it not do? Then Vireshwarananda and Prabhu Maharaj told, somebody compelled you to take Diksha? It is on you, it depends upon you how much japam you will do and how fast you want to go to the goal. If you want to go from here to some place, you can go by bullock cart also. It will take a long time. You can go by train. If you want to reach faster, then you go by plane. It depends upon you what mode of transport you take. So if you want to reach the goal quicker, you have to do more japam. So 108 is the minimum, but some people take it as the maximum. And there also they want concession from 108 to 8. So these are all various types of, with the monks, there are so many things. I end with Prabhu Maharaj. One day, when he had come to Rajkot, so I had not yet joined at the time. One lady devotee was very mature devotee. So she asked, Swamiji, we want to hear about the reminiscences of Holy Mother. And Maharaj, as usual, no, it has all come in the book. You read about Holy Mother. I am not going to tell about it. Any other question you tell. No, we want from your mouth. Then he was not taking it. They said, we want your subjective feeling after meeting Holy Mother Sharda Devi. Then Maharaj told, when I met Holy Mother, I felt I have reached the place where I wanted to reach. After meeting Holy Mother, I found that I have reached the place where I wanted to reach. This is only he told. You felt tremendous peace of mind. Then he told also that outwardly she was very, very ordinary looking woman, a village woman. But we did not know there is so much of power within her. This is one part. Then we were in the training center. I don't know you were there or not at that time. So we had one day every year we used to have some time when we could communicate very freely. Just like that. All the brahmacharis will be there, he will be there. No talk, just you can chit chat and you will ask. He was very free. So that time we asked, Maharaj, please tell something about Holy Mother. No, these all reminiscences have come. Then we told, okay, then you please tell something about Holy Mother which has not been published in book. We categorically called. Then Maharaj told, okay, I will tell you one thing. Then he said, Holy Mother said that this time the Lord has come in the form of Shri Ramakrishna and has made God realization relatively very easy. How? Holy Mother gave the example. Olden times, the temples used to be closed and the temples used to be locked outside. So when you want to enter a temple, you have to unlock it, open the stopper, go inside, then go to the Garbhagriha, sanctorium. There also, there used to be another lock. You open that lock, remove that bolt, then push the door, then you will have a vision of the deity. In this age, Holy Mother says, Sri Ramakrishna has removed the lock from the outside. He has removed the bolt also. He has opened the door. Even in the Sanctum Sanctorium, he has removed the lock. He has removed the bolt. You just have to push and you will get the vision. He has made it so simple. Just one push and the door gets open and you get the vision of God. Is it not true? Are you hearing for the first time? Yes, Maharaj, this is first time. So please tell me nothing more. He said, when the precious thing is there, one enough. It is very precious, one is enough. So I think, Swamijis are there also. I didn't know so many Swamijis are there.
Because we have to give formally a vote of thanks to Swamiji.
We are so grateful for the presence of Swamiji, and it's a very special occasion for me because I am seeing him after almost 30 years. When I was a student, we used to go for a walk when Swamiji was in Ranchi Ashram. I traveled with him from Rajkot to Belur once, and I'm so emotional today. But we are so thankful for his presence and our gift from
So Swamiji's talk was, I think, not good because we understood everything. So that's our saying. It was so interesting. Went to the heart straight. Incident, our love for Gujarat and love for the city that is visualized how Swami Vivekananda purified. So many interesting incidents that we didn't know. Incidents are all scattered in the books, some are not even the books. So we are all very thankful to accept pranam from all of us.